How's it going, everybody? You're listening to the Corner 3 podcast. We are 2 days out from the NFL draft. At the time of recording, this will drop tomorrow on Wednesday, so we'll have that on a day before the draft. I'm Josh Bolter, joined by my co-hosts Zach Aaronholtz and Braden Butler. At least on my screen, I'm in the top right here. I don't know how it's worked out for you guys. I got Braden on bottom and then Zach on the left. So
I got both.
Zach's the one.
Great.
Zach's the one recording, so his is the one that matters. But
all right, it's okay. Bolter, Braden. There we go.
Okay, I'm just making sure it's the
exact
same.
opposite.
It's okay.
So, anyways, without further ado here, we're going to kind of get into today's topic. And what we're going to talk about is NFL draft rumors. You know, week of the draft rumors fly everywhere. Apparently, the Patriots are doing 6 different things. We'll get into that a little bit. But first off, where I want to start is with what Ian Rappaport tweeted the other day, basically saying the 49ers are down to 2 quarterbacks at pick 3 after trading up with the Miami Dolphins. They're down to Alabama's Mac Jones or North Dakota State's Trey Lance. Tell me, guys, are you buying this rumor? Are you selling it? Or are you holding on it? Say maybe wait and see. Braden, we'll start with you.
I'm buying that it's one of these two guys. Rumors are, specifically Kyle Shanahan, some people on the coaching staff want Mac Jones. Some of the scouting department says that Trey Lance might be a better fit. But I'm buying that it's between these two guys for San Francisco. Lawrence and Wilson will be off the board, and I just don't know why Fields has kind of dropped on draft boards recently. I know he's come out a few weeks ago and officially confirmed he struggles with epilepsy sometimes, so that could be another reason. But I don't see anywhere else the 49ers could go at 3 besides these two guys. So I'm buying that it's one of them.
Yeah, unfortunately, the other thing I've heard on Fields is that he's not necessarily where teams want him to be on making second and third reads. Which I understand being at Ohio State, you're going to play with the best talent. A lot of times your first read's open, you just fire the ball. But that's one of the things that scouts are worried about and concerned they can't coach him. That's what I've heard. I don't necessarily agree with that. That's just what a lot of scouts and experts are saying. Anyway, Zach, are you buying or selling this rumor on Jones and Lance?
I'm going to hold for a second on this one just because I think that they could, a lot of rumors, at this time, they happen sometimes. It's just to throw other teams off. And so I could see the 49ers doing this and then taking Fields and having everyone behind them have them thrown off because of this. And so also I think the 49ers, if Zach Wilson falls to them, I think they could also potentially like them as well. So I'm going to hold on it. But I could definitely see it happening. But I could also see the 49ers finding a way to just lie just to mess with people as well.
Yeah, and that's possible. I see no need in lying at this point. You're going to have whoever you want outside of what it looks like to be Lawrence and Wilson. At this point, there's really no need to lie to anybody because nobody's really getting past them at this point, unless someone goes out and offers 6 first-round picks to the Jets, and the Jets are just like, all right, let's do it. But I'm actually buying this. Like I said, I just don't see any reason for the 49ers to lie at this point of the process because we're 2 days out. They have seemed to made up their mind on one of these 2 quarterbacks. Both of these guys, we've seen them visit multiple times and talk with multiple times. I'm all the way in on this one. I think it's either going to be Mac Jones or Trey Lance. I could fill this entire podcast with information about how I disagree with one of those 2 options. But, hey, I'm not the one making the decisions for the 49ers. They are, and it looks like it's going to be either Mac Jones or Trey Lance. All right, so we got 2 buys, 1 hold on that rumor. The next rumor that is up for debate and on the table involves Kyle Pitts. There's a rumor that he could potentially be the first non-quarterback off the board, and the team that's most interested at that point, and a lot of rumors and a lot of mocks all of a sudden going this way, is the Atlanta Falcons at pick number 4, taking Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida. Are you guys buying that? Or are you selling it? Zach, we'll start with you.
A lot happens on draft night. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try something. I'm selling this. I think what the Falcons should do, or what I think could happen, is that if they have the right deal, I think a team will want to come in at 4 to take a quarterback at this opportunity. So I believe the first non-quarterback going to be taken, I think, is going to be Penei Sewell to the Bengals. I don't know. I could definitely see Pitts going at 4 to the Falcons, but just this rumor, a lot of things can happen between, there's a lot of great talent at the top 10. And so saying Pitts going at 4, I'm gonna sell it. I think it's either gonna be Sewell or a defensive player.
And we got Sell for Zach. Braden, how about you?
I'm gonna sell this too. I think there's just way too many holes on that defense. Can you name anybody on that defense not named Deion Jones and Grady Jarrett? Neither can I. They need to do something, I think, on Micah Parsons or a trade back scenario with a team like the Panthers or the Broncos or even the Cowboys. And that's what I wanted to get into with why all the Pitts rumors are coming in is Jerry Jones has been on record saying he's infatuated with Kyle Pitts. Maybe it's a play trying to get Jerry to move up because he's made some rash decisions before in his almost 30 years now as the owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, over 30 years. So yeah, I'm gonna sell this, and I don't think they're taking Kyle Pitts, but I think it's more of a play to kind of like Zach said, get somebody to trade up to 4, and then they drop back.
Okay, I'm actually going to hold on this one. The way I look at it is, and that's specifically for the purpose of maybe they trade back and someone goes up to get a quarterback. Otherwise, I think it is going to be Pitts. If you look at it, it's way too high for Parsons at this point. Just the buzz isn't there for him to go in the top 10 right now, or at least in that top 5 or 6 teams. The first team you really see that buzz start to happen around is Detroit, really at 7. And to be honest with you, it's not even guaranteed there. Detroit has so many needs and so many different things they could look at as well. They've said all options are open. I just think this is either, at this point, once again, this is not what I would do. I just could see it happening because Atlanta, at this point, if they do it, let's put it this way, they don't take a quarterback, that means they're all in on Matt Ryan. The way you do that is with Kyle Pitts at 4, I guess. That's what they're going to try to do. Once again, it's not what I would do, but I'm going to hold on it for now, see what happens with the quarterback situation, because if 3 quarterbacks go off the board like we expect, all of a sudden maybe teams are racing for who's ever left, whether it's Mac Jones and Justin Fields or Trey Lance and Justin Fields or whoever are still left on the board after 3. Maybe there's a team that absolutely is in love with one of those quarterbacks and goes up and gets them. But for now, I'm going to hold on it just because of that. All right, next rumor here. And once again, I'm only going to stick to one of these with the Patriots because there's been about 4 or 5 different rumors about what the Patriots are going to do. I just think this one is the juiciest of the rumors. This one has the Patriots looking to trade up into the top 10 and select Justin Fields out of Ohio State. Spots they could look at are 7 with Detroit, as well as 8 with Carolina. There's also some rumors maybe with the Dolphins. I know a lot of teams don't do in-division trades. What do you think, Braden? Buy, sell, hold, maybe Justin Fields to the Patriots trading into the top 10?
I'm glad that you clarified we're only doing one Patriots rumor, because it feels like 90% of the rumors this draft season have somehow involved Bill Belichick and his master plan to rebuild his dynasty. I'm going to hold for now just because I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see on draft night where exactly people start to fall and then how high they'd have to trade up for Justin Fields. And obviously, it's probably not a trade that's going to happen before draft night, just so you can see how the cards, you want to keep your cards close to the vest, so to speak, until it's time to play them. I'm going to hold, but I do see it as a huge possibility. I think Justin Fields is the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in this draft class, depending on how you view him, Wilson, and Lance. And excuse me, I had a little thing in my throat there. And I think that'd be a great pickup for the Patriots. And as you mentioned when talking about Fields earlier, some people are worried that, he doesn't have the make the 2nd or 3rd reads. You have a very experienced coach in Bill Belichick. You can instill some better habits, so to speak, in young guys. It's the Patriot way coming back again. And I think Justin Fields in that system, or maybe building the system around Justin Fields again, whatever Bill Belichick has to do, would be a good pickup for the Patriots.
Okay, Zach, how about yourself on this one? Justin Fields to the Patriots inside the top 10. What do you think?
If it's Justin Fields fall the Patriots, I'd probably quicker buy on this. It's just the Patriots trading up. They usually never do. It's mostly them trading back. And so that's what's holding me on it. But so I'm going to hold as well, just because of the simple fact that it's them trading up. If it was them staying at 15 and taking Fields, I'm likely to buy that. But it's just them trading up that has me in my dilemma, just because the Patriots just have never, in my recent years as well, just never done it. They mostly trade out of the first round. So I'm going to hold, but I could definitely see them taking Fields. that makes sense.
Yeah, Zach, the one time I remember the Patriots trading back into the first round or up at all was for N'Keal Harry, but that was pick 31. And
Yeah.
look how that one turned out.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm actually going to buy this one. I look at it this way. In this scenario, it looks like Justin Fields is going to be available at that point, because if he slides past pick 4 with Atlanta, where's the next spot? Detroit, maybe? Carolina, maybe? Denver? New England's going to want to move up. And if Justin Fields slides past 4, they're going to have competition for that, whether it's the football team, whether it's the Bears, whether it's the Steelers, whoever. There's going to be competition for that. And I know the Patriots don't trade up often, but there's a difference here. This isn't trying to put pieces around Tom Brady anymore. This is trying to find your next quarterback. And like it or not, that's what a lot of teams have had to do to get their franchise quarterback and make moves to get quarterbacks in the last few years, is to trade up. We've seen it with Josh Allen. We've seen it with specifically Carson Wentz and Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. You see this. Mitchell Trubisky as well. Whether it's a good move or bad move, that's what you have to do. It doesn't matter what it costs. You go up and you get your quarterback, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. I'm buying into this because truth is the Patriots are desperate. They have no other options right now. They just don't. I'm sorry, having a guy quarterback with 8 touchdowns to 10 picks, I don't care how many rushing touchdowns he had, is not a viable option. And I think they're going to try to trade up for Justin Fields, because the truth is they really don't have another option right now.
Mm.
So I'm all the way in on it. I love it, because in this hypothetical scenario, Patriots only moving up about 8 spots. And there's a difference between moving up 8 spots from like 9-1 compared to 15-7. That's going to cost a little less. You might, if you get lucky, might get away with that without giving up a first-round pick next year. I doubt it, but there's a chance. So I can see the Patriots moving up in this one and trying to get Justin Fields. All right, next rumor here. The Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, are in love with Kwity Paye, and it is possible he is the 12th pick in the draft. Kwity Paye, the defensive end out of the University of Michigan, at 12. Buy, sell, hold. Zach, I see both of you already shaking your heads. Zach.
Oh, I'm buying this. I am buying this so well. Simple fact is that I don't know. The Eagles always seem to make these random selections, and they need edge help. So like, I could definitely see them being like, oh yeah, Kwity Paye is going to be our guy, because I don't know. It just seems like an Eagles move, and so I'm buying as much as I can out of this. This is, I'm like, yeah, this will happen. I'm buying it.
Okay, Braden, I can already see you laughing there. What's up? Are you buying it? You selling it?
Please, God, let this happen. I shut up and take my money. It's a little worrying considering how my previous, viewpoints on certain players have panned out from previous drafts, but I just don't see it with Kwity Paye. I think he's at best the 3rd or 4th, maybe even 5th best defensive end pass rusher type in this draft, depending on how you even view Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, or Zaven Collins can be a pass rusher on the edge, or even Micah Parsons has pass rushed before. So he really starts to fall down even more when you look at it like that. I just don't understand this move when you have a young quarterback who nobody's really committing to and Jalen Hurts either. It's been said that it's an open competition. I don't know with who. The tackling dummy. I'm pretty sure Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback on the roster, but I digress. You have no receiving options at all. You still try to figure out, I think Zach Ertz is gone. You got Dallas Goedert, but then Greg Ward, Travis Fulgham. I just don't understand why you have all these needs on offense and you go defense. It's the exact opposite of what I don't understand with the Cowboys at 10, where they have all these needs on defense and they're thinking about taking Kyle Pitts. It's just the NFC East is the NFC East for a reason, and this is an amazing NFC East move. And it's funny because the Cowboys are going to make the wrong move at 10. The Eagles are probably going to make this move at 12 and make the wrong move. And in between them, we got the Gettle God himself, David Gettleman. And it's going to be 10 through 12 might be my favorite picks of the draft, or they might make me walk out of wherever we're watching the draft. It's really going to depend. But give me Kwity Paye at 12. because that's exactly what the Eagles need. Another pass rusher after taking Derek Barnett a few years ago and having Brandon Graham and whatever. Just take it. Have fun with Kwity Paye. Tell me how that works out in 4 years, Philly.
Yeah, I'm going to hold on this one. The way I look at it, it depends on how the board falls. You mentioned wide receivers. We don't know if any of those wide receivers are going to be on the board. The Bengals could take a wide receiver. The Dolphins could take a wide receiver. The Lions could take a wide receiver. I could see the Panthers taking a wide receiver. I could see the Giants taking a wide receiver before him. I'm going to wait and see. You could also have teams trade up who need a wide receiver if they're in love with one of those top guys and maybe they aren't going to fall there. You might have to trade up and get one. So I'm going to hold on it because it's the same thing with that as well as with the cornerbacks. You don't know if these guys are going to be on the board when you're up to pick at 12. You just don't right now. So I'm going to hold on it simply because, yeah, maybe there's a chance that one of those guys that they want at wide receiver or cornerback, which they need in Philly, aren't there. So I'm going to hold on it for now. All right, next rumor here. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. New uniforms, new year, third year under head coach Zach Taylor. Right now, there's a lot of reports they're looking and scouting tackles in the second round, which would mean they would not go with Oregon tackle Penei Sewell or even Northwestern tackle Rashawn Slater, which means they would take former teammate of Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, the wide receiver out of LSU, at number 5. Are you guys buying or selling or holding that? Braden, we'll start with you.
Forgot my mic was muted for a second. My apologies. I really want to sell. I really, really do. But it just seems like what the Bengals are going to do is try to get Joe Burrow another weapon when in reality, he needs protection. You mentioned the new uniforms. In the release of those new uniforms, you also see a very nice new scar, depending on how you look at it, on Joe Burrow's knee from his ACL injury last season. Look, if you take Ja'Marr Chase at 5 and he's the next great receiver, and you spend the next however many draft picks you have on people to protect Joe Burrow, I will like it. And I understand Ja'Marr Chase being a former teammate of Joe Burrow and probably a friend off the field as well, considering how much Joe Burrow is reportedly campaigning for Ja'Marr Chase. I get that, but I really just want to sell it, and I want them to protect Joe Burrow with the best tackle available in the last couple of years, it seems like, in Penei Sewell.
Yeah, and I will say this. The good news is if they choose to go Ja'Marr Chase, there are going to be some tackles available in the second round that have a lot of talent. Alex Leatherwood might be there. Walker Little, Dylan Redunz from North Dakota State might be there. There are those options. But, Zach, which way are you leaning on this? What do you think?
Well, I obviously, if you guys don't know, I'm an offensive line guy. And so just this move doesn't – if they do take Ja'Marr Chase, I get it. I don't like it because you'll probably have one of the best tackle prospects in years. A guy who he can pass protect, he can run block, he can do everything. And you're going to pass on him for another weapon that Joe Burrow – and he has a close relationship with, I get it. But, I mean, you have T. Higgins in there. You have Tyler Boyd. What you don't have is any offensive line help. And that would just – but here's the thing. The Bengals, I could see the Bengals doing it, so that's why I'm not going to sell it. And so if I am the Bengals and you take Ja'Marr Chase at 5, I swear to God, your next 5 picks better be offensive linemen. I'm just saying. Because if you take 5, one of those ought to hit, right? Or at least be suitable. And so here's the thing: if you take Ja'Marr Chase at 5, you better take 5 additional offensive linemen because I'm sorry, that's your weakest spot on the team. And so if you pass on one of the best tackles in years, you better take at least 5. If you don't, I will probably not like this draft for the Bengals. So I'm going to hold just the simple fact that I could see them doing it. I hate the move if they do it. I get it. I bet Ja'Marr Chase is a great guy. It's just in Cincinnati, you need that offensive line help. But I'm going to hold because I can definitely see the Bengals doing it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Zach. I'm going to hold just because the way I look at it is either way, I get the pick. I don't think they can – the only way they go wrong is if they draft Ja'Marr Chase and that offensive line does not get any help. Mm-hmm. That's the only way that I think they could go wrong because taking Ja'Marr Chase will work. The way I look at it is if Ja'Marr Chase is as good as at least I believe he is and a lot of scouts believe he is, the Bengals would have one of the best receiving crews in the league for years to come with him and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. That is a dynamic receiving crew, and that's what Joe Burrow needs, is some weapons. But at the same time, like you guys both said, they really need offensive line help. You could have a really good tackle combination with Penei Sewell as well as Jonah Williams if you choose to go that route. That's why I'm holding, because I'm not going to completely hate on it either way if they do it, but we'll see what happens. All right, next rumor here. Not necessarily a loaded running back class for the first round, but there's a lot of guys you could see going maybe in the second or third round. Next rumor here from Ian Rappaport. The consensus top 3 running backs in this class are Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and North Carolina running back Javonte Williams. And he says the order varies, which with some teams having Javonte Williams as the number 1 back in this class. He had over 1,000 yards this season, as well as 19 touchdowns, averaged 7.3 yards a carry at the University of North Carolina last year. Are you guys buying that? Do you think there are some teams out there that have Javonte Williams as the number 1 running back? Zach, start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to buy this because, every scouting department's going to have a different thing they're looking at, like the big thing they're looking at. And I think all 3 of these guys bring something special to the table. So I like all 3 of them. And so I could definitely see Javonte being a number 1 in some of the NFL teams, draft board. And so I don't know exactly who, because personally he's my number 3, but I can definitely see teams saying he's the number 1 back. So I'm buying that.
Braden, how about yourself? What are you thinking on this one?
Personally, I'm going to buy it as well. I really like Javonte Williams. You mentioned his stats, averaging over 7 yards per carry, over 1,000 yards rushing, 19 touchdowns, and he did that in a 2 running back system as well. Michael Carter is, I believe, his teammate at North Carolina is like also a top 5, top 6, top 7 running back in this draft class. So to do all that with another top guy right behind you splitting carries makes him look really good. I personally have Williams as my number 2 running back. I think ETN is a little too boom or bust for my liking. That's why he falls down to 3. And Najee Harris is the 1. And then at that point, it's a scheme fit. Najee Harris, more of a power runner between the tackles. Javonte Williams adds a little more flexibility going outside. It's really just what you want. And that's why I believe teams have him at 1, just because if their offense isn't built around running between the tackles, you're going to like a guy with a little more outside top end speed like Williams instead of Najee Harris.
Yeah, I'm with you guys as well. I like Javonte Williams. I personally am a Najee Harris fan. I think he is the number 1 back, but for people who have Javonte Williams, I get it. He's not small for a back. 5'10", 220 in today's NFL is a decent size back. Obviously you're going to have your freak size backs like a Najee Harris or even a Derrick Henry, obviously. But guys like this are the running back build, about 5'10", 220. This guy put up the numbers last year, and like you said, in 2-back system where both backs had over 1,000 yards last year, really stepped up their games. Yeah, I'm with it. I think this guy's really good, and I think has a chance to be a really good pro. So I'm absolutely all for it. All right, next rumor here. This one's interesting because it involves players that aren't necessarily in this year's draft. This one involves the Denver Broncos and their ongoing quarterback situation. Right now, they have Drew Lock on the roster as the starter. Not a great year for Drew Lock last year in year 2. Kind of expect him to take that next step after a pretty decent rookie season, if we're being completely honest. That being said, the rumor right now is if the quarterback Denver wants does not fall to them at 9, which it doesn't say who they want necessarily, but if the quarterback they want doesn't fall to them at 9, they will explore options to trade for quarterbacks such as Teddy Bridgewater or Jimmy Garoppolo, guys who we've seen either had their replacements traded for or will probably see their replacements taken in this year's draft. 49ers at pick 3. You guys buying this one, selling it? Braden, we'll start with you.
I'm personally gonna sell. I know off camera, obviously in our own personal friend group, we've all taken a few shots at Drew Lock. He definitely regressed last season. After what was a pretty, as you mentioned, solid rookie campaign for him. I want to see him one more year with a healthy receiving core. I know Cortland Sutton was out last year. Jerry Jeudy was on and off. He was very dynamic, but he had a case of the dropsies for most of the season. And your number 1 option was really Tim Patrick. So I think give Drew. I'm okay if you don't have that guy at 9 to give Drew Lock one more year, because personally, with after what I saw last year, and going back too far here maybe, but what I saw Drew Lock's rookie year and what Drew Lock can be and what Teddy Bridgewater and Jimmy Garoppolo aren't that far apart. You shouldn't have to give up for guys who will add maybe a win or two to your schedule all season when you can ride it out with a young guy. Maybe he improves. And if not, and you're bad, there's quarterbacks in next year's drafts too, specifically Sam Howell and Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma, two guys that are projected to be top picks next year. So there's always options. I just don't feel like trading for aging guys whose peak was mid-table at best in Bridgewater or Garoppolo is the right move for the Broncos.
Zach, how about you?
With this rumor, I'm gonna buy. Just the simple fact that there's a new GM in town, so I think he's gonna go out and get his guy, whether that be in the draft or whether that be trading for a person that he fits, like he thinks that will suit best for Denver. I think it's going to be that simple. I think if it was still John Elway, I think they would stick with Drew Lock because I think that's just who John Elway is. But since there's a new GM in town, I'm going to buy this. I think they're going to go get a new guy, a different guy. And if it is like Jimmy Garoppolo or Teddy Bridgewater, obviously I don't think they're going to trade Drew Lock with that, especially if it is Teddy Bridgewater, because the simple fact that Carolina already has Sam Darnold. And so you can just bring Teddy in and you keep Drew Lock and just have a quarterback competition in Denver for the next offseason. I can just see it happening, so I'm buying this.
Yeah, and I don't mean to kind of be in the middle here, but that's exactly where I'm gonna go. Honestly, I'm gonna hold on this one for a couple of reasons. George Payton, their new GM, signed a 6-year contract in the offseason, which means he has time, which means he's not in a hurry. He does not have to win this year. He's going to have multiple years to build this roster and this team how he wants it. However, Vic Fangio pretty much has this year to win. And if they have that chance, if you ask me, gut feeling right now, out of those 3 quarterbacks, who would I want to try to win this year? Drew Lock is last between him, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Teddy Bridgewater. That's what I'm going to hold simply because it depends on who wins out in that. If it's Peyton or if it's Vic Fangio, one of which has a lot of time left, one of which doesn't, and it depends on how George Payton feels about Vic Fangio. And if Payton likes Fangio, then maybe they might keep him around and try to get a quarterback in there that can help him win this year to try to save his job. So I'm, like I said, I'm right in the middle on that one just because of that. Okay, last rumor here. We're gonna do one more here before we end the show. This one I'm gonna have fun with just because the rumor is, and this is a quote from new Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer. He said the Jaguars are down to 3 quarterbacks at number 1. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Zach Wilson. Are you guys buying that at all?
Go ahead, Braden.
I am without speech. It takes a lot to get me to shut up. What? No, that is totally Urban Meyer just blowing smoke, so to speak. If it's not Trevor Lawrence, number 1, why are we here? If Trevor Lawrence isn't the first name called on Thursday, why are any of us here? He's the best quarterback talent or best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, basically. This is just Urban Meyer creating some sort of media hype just because we all know what he's going to do. And it's way less fun if we know what's going to happen. So it's just trying to drum up some interest. Like, I just don't. I'm going to hard sell that one. I will sell that. I'll sell everything that belongs to it, the house, the car, everything. Everything is getting sold on this one. It's a garage sale.
Zach, tell me why Zach Wilson, your namesake, is going number 1 overall.
My namesake. Oh, Zach's are, great name. I wish Zach Wilson the very best. But with this rumor in specifically is a hard, it's not an easy sell, the more you think about it, those are good guys. It could go at number 1. You never know. You guys are just giving me pan the faces. I don't know how to read it.
Too nice. You're too nice to these quarterbacks. No, it's a sell. Obviously, it's a sell. Trevor Lawrence is going number one. I just want to have fun with that. Now we're going to do our actual last rumor of the day. Finish it up here. Involving the 8th overall pick with the Carolina Panthers. Just a couple weeks ago, they trade for Sam Darnold. They trade a 2nd-round pick next year as well as a 4th and 6th-round pick over the next 2 drafts. You look at it here. This rumor comes from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. A report says that Carolina could be interested in taking a quarterback if Justin Fields falls to 8, which, as we get closer to draft day, looks like it might happen. You guys buying that? It is an official report from an ESPN reporter. What do you guys think? Zach, we'll start with you. Could the Panthers say, hey, Sam Darnold, we're not necessarily committing to you yet, or is this just them trying to get someone to trade up?
Yeah. For this one, I'm going to sell. I think this is just trying to get people to trade up with them and basically get more draft capital for that pick. Because if there's no threat that they're going to take a quarterback, then the person trying to trade up for the quarterback, they're not going to give up as much. But if like the Patriots really want to trade up and take Justin Fields and the threat's there that Carolina wants him, they're going to give him more. And so that's what I think Carolina is doing here. You went and just trade for Sam Darnold. I don't get why you go get Justin Fields then. It's just, I feel like at this moment you've taken that draft capital towards Sam Darnold. I think at this moment you just give Sam Darnold a try. And I think this specific draft, you got to go get him weapons or O-line help or just more help on that defense. And so that's just what I see them doing. So taking Justin Fields at 8, I'm selling it. It's more to get better draft capital for that pick.
Okay. Braden, what do you think? Justin Fields in Carolina or hard pass?
Nah, I'm a hard pass, kind of like John Stockton back in the day. This one's going elsewhere. If Fields goes in the top 10, and barring a trade up, taking trades specific out of the situation, if he goes in the top 10 with how everything else is supposed to shake out, it's either going to be 7 to Detroit or 9 to Denver. I don't see it happening at 8 with Carolina. Now, like Zach said, the Patriots or someone trades up trying to get to that 8th pick, which, you know, if you are a general manager, you got to drum up as much interest in your pick as possible if you feel like the guy you really want is still going to be there in a little bit anyway. So I might as well get more because, you know, sometimes less is more, sometimes more is more, so to speak. And more draft picks is more better. Love the English language. Yeah, I don't see them taking a quarterback at 8. You just gave up some draft capital for Sam Darnold. I feel like this is just a way to get draft capital back, specifically a 2nd rounder next year.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. I think this is a sell. You know, there's a chance maybe they say, hey, Sam Darnold, we technically only have you on the roster for another year. We can pick up more. But I think this is just trying to get trade value, which the truth is a lot of times if you publicly announce that you are trying to either take interest in a quarterback, what that can do is get a team to then just say, hey, we need to go to the team in front of you and trade ahead of you instead of trading with you. So from that standpoint, there's a chance Carolina plays themselves in a little bit, but I think this is just them trying to drum up interest in that 8th pick. And it might work out just because they look like the most likely suitor, because the way it looks, I think Denver and Detroit might actually stay where they're at. But we'll see what happens. Justin Fields, sorry, you're not going to Carolina. Anyways, that's gonna do it for our NFL draft rumors, buy, sell, hold. We did a whole bunch of them. Probably none of these things will actually happen or anything like that, and we'll have a great time. And all these rumors are just NFL GMs just kind of lying to us and messing with us for absolutely no reason. But yeah, so we will have an episode out next week as well, reviewing the NFL draft. We'll do winners, losers. We'll talk about as many picks as we can. It's going to be a great time. Make sure to follow us on Facebook. That's at the Corner 3. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at the Corner 31. That's the word 3 and then the number 1. Figure that out yourself, but make sure to follow us on Twitter as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is something new we're trying this semester and with our last couple episodes. So please check it out. Guys, before we go, do you have anything else to say?
I will go real quick with a closing statement. Yeah, because obviously this video will be posted on YouTube. It might be cross-posted on Facebook. But if you're watching this on YouTube, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I've watched a lot of YouTubers. I know how to do this. Hit the notification bell, stay notified for every Corner 3 update, and share it with your friends. If, however many of you have, one friend is better than some. If you got 20, doesn't matter. All the help we can get, we'd appreciate it.
Zachary.
And as always, go Pack Go.
Zachary, quick, before we go, in one word, how are you going to feel when the Packers draft Greg Newsome?
Terrible.
So
Complacent.
He can't be worse than Kevin King, Zach.
I don't know.
He can't.
He probably can't.
Kevin King got burned by Scotty Miller.
He did get burned by Scotty Miller, and
Never
he lost
forget.
by 5. It's okay. Zach is living in Spain without the S. Anyways, so make sure to tune in next week. We'll have our NFL draft review. Obviously, if the Packers draft Greg Newsome, it's going to be a must-watch podcast, which is going to be either way, but definitely to another level. If the Packers draft Greg Newsome, it's going to be a great time. So thank you for joining us. For Zach Aaronholtz and Braden Butler, I'm Josh Bolter. We will talk to you all next time.